Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our sixth Health Matters with Hatsuno Kiseki Facebook Live session. Thank you for joining us. In this session, we have Dr. Siva from Meditherapy Singapore, whom he will be sharing the history and the journey of three individuals in their youth going through cancer. So cancer has become a leading cause of death worldwide. And it's concerning to see the rise of cancer cases in young people. I hope this session will equip you with the knowledge and the understanding of why cancer is rampant in youth. Many of our research have attributed to the rise of cancer to lifestyle choices, the environment that we live in, the environment that we work in, and of course the choice of food that we consume. For me, my main suspect is the abundance of this so-called ultra hyper processed food that are everywhere. This is very much my own hypothesis.
It's a fact, actually.
Yeah, because of the demands of our daily life, we resort to processed food because of its convenience. Like in Penang, you see drive-thrus popping up everywhere. And the amount of selection that you get in the supermarkets, the pre-cooked frozen foods is mind-boggling.
Yes.
Yeah.
The supermarket, I would say only less than 5% of the food I take it as food. The rest to me is a trash, actually.
Exactly. So please feel free to ask any questions you have that you have in the comment section. And we'll try our best to answer them during this session. Also, very important thing is that you, the audience, if you have topics that you feel that is important and that you are passionate about, please feel free to put it in the comment section as well. So, without further ado, Dr. Siva, over to you.
Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
Good evening, everyone. Well, okay, before I start, I'm going to pick on three cases, and all three are females. So please apologize if anyone thinking why I'm picking up ladies. For that, I first request you to watch a video on YouTube, the difference between male's brain and female brain. I'll give you an example. So my wife saw me and one of my friends were just having some heated exchanges sometime earlier. And the next day she saw both of us laughing and smiling and having coffee together. And that night she asked me, "Hey, yesterday I saw you both were having a very heated debate, argument about something. But today you both are laughing and enjoying your coffee. How is it that possible?" I said, "Yeah, why not? Yesterday we picked up a topic. And then I was telling from my point of view, he was telling from his point of view. And then finally we arrived at a conclusion and then we closed the chapter and we forgot about it. So today is a new day. We never go back in reverse gear. We were talking about all the other things because that matter is closed." Very interesting. We women, we don't forget and forgive anything. Everything stays in our mind and we keep on thinking about it. And I told her, no wonder a lot of women have cancer and one of it is emotional issues. So I will summarize again why we get disease: air, water, food, environment, lifestyle, mental, emotional, ancestral, karmic, genetic, nosocomial, and idiopathic. So you can broadly categorize all this as a root cause of many diseases. And as Mark highlighted earlier, yes, one of it is environment and the other one is ultra-processed food. There's a recent article in all major publications. They say ultra-processed food is one of the cause driving cancers up. And the problem is now we don't pay enough attention to health. We want everything in a hurry. So convenient foods, please remember, leads to inconvenient death. Just remember that. And I'm going to give you three cases. And all three are young ladies. And so let me start off with case one. She was about 33 when she came to me. for breast cancer. So I look at her, very young, very calm, very composed, very beautiful young mother. But what she's going through is actually like problems is a lot. And it all started with a relationship issue with her past husband many years ago. When she married when she was very young. So I looked at her, I talked to her, and I found out that she's not an unaware person. She's very aware of a lot of things happening in the world. In fact, I even told her, well, if you're recovered from cancer, you can even work for me. Very smart, good critical thinking, aware of a lot of things. But at one particular thing, she was ignorant, maybe when she was young. So I told her, she and her husband came. Then I asked permission from her husband that I would like to talk to her in private for some time. Then her husband gladly agreed. So when he left, then I asked her, can you tell me your life story? She said, yes, I had a prior marriage, and from that she had a daughter. And the relationship between the husband and the wife was not so good. So what I said, okay, you had a baby. What did you do? I said, did you do anything to stop your breast milk? She said, yes. Because she is so angry with the husband, she wanted to punish her husband, thinking that by not feeding the baby with the milk it deserves to have, she took a pill to stop it. And true enough, the baby was fed on powder milk. And that's where the problem of breast cancer started, in my opinion. Because you see, we are not designed to go against nature. We are designed to go in harmony with nature. But what she did was, out of ignorance, she wanted to take revenge on her husband by making him feel that the baby she's taking revenge on him by punishing the baby. But indeed, she didn't know that she's actually punishing herself by lighting herself on fire. So that's where the problem started. And then, of course, not to mention, she went through a divorce and then stressful job, again, food, lifestyle, all matters, sleepless nights. And then, of course, she married a very lovely man, second marriage. He's really very supportive, very understanding husband. Very nice person, very nice person. But you see, the mistake she made almost 10-15 years ago, actually a body, you can't reverse it, sadly, because you went against nature. So I'm not sure how many of you have are fathers. If you're fathers, you know, like sometimes when during the feeding time, the breast becomes very hard for a woman. So a lot of mothers go through that. In fact, for her, she stopped the entire milk flow. And not to mention, can't sleep, can't eat. So she started, the seed was planted almost 15 years ago. Our body is very kind to us, you know. Unless you take cyanide, it won't kill you immediately. Only when you take a poison, it almost kills you instantly. It took 15 years, but again, tragedy after tragedy, relationship with family, all matters. But for her, she didn't get the love she wanted. Just recently, I came across a video. One wise man was telling, do you know what a woman expects from a husband? So you may think car, money, cash, holiday. No, the answer was very simple. Can you all guess? Mark, can you guess what a woman expects from a husband?
I don't know. She's not around, so I'm not going to answer.
Oh, it's very simple. Actually, it's a 4-letter word. Just love. Woman only needs one thing in life. Just love them as they are. And they can give you everything you want. That's the only thing they expect, you know. We have seen some people, you know, the woman may be very pretty, but the husband may not be as pretty. as the wife, but the woman loves him dearly. Why? He gives all the love the woman needs. So a woman is not after much things like beauty doesn't matter, money, the way lifestyle, but as long as she can receive all the love, that's the key thing. She will be very happy.
So I should start asking money from my wife tomorrow.
Yeah, why not? In fact, I even tell my wife, dear, you always say now is a feminine time to lead the world. I will be very happy to be a house husband, provided you can go and take care of the family. There was an article on Singapore paper last week that one gentleman, choose to become a house husband to support the wife who's in hawker business, which is very tough job. Two daughters, and is willing to do it.
Right.
But me, I don't have that capacity, so I don't go there. So the problem started 15 years ago, roughly, that she went against nature to stop the breast milk, stop feeding the baby. And you have to understand, when a baby actually feeds on the breast, it actually exercises its muscles. I mean, there is a separate theory on it, It helps in the development of the baby, bonding with the mother, love, care, nourishment. But you deprive a baby of it, so the baby's life will be affected, and not to mention the mother's own life. And that's what happened. Yes, sadly, much later, she found another beautiful husband. But sadly, when she came to me, it was already fungating tumors. Fungating tumors mean just Google online. Today, I didn't want to make any slide because it's all PNC. I don't want to reveal anybody's name or anything. So just Google on fungating tumors. Trust me, the images will be very gross. It will be very smelly if you have been with people who have that. A lot of discharge, pus, smell. It's not a very pleasant thing on a human body. So she came to me at that stage. So the point here is, don't go against nature. And if you have a problem with a man, just address the problem with the man, not take that problem and take revenge using another thing, which is totally not related at all. So that's why I said, please go and watch the video on YouTube. Just type man's brain and woman's brain, and you can see the very funny video. Like for just one point, if I were to mention, man brain is like boxes. They just take one thing out of it, take care of it, do everything and put it back without disturbing all other boxes. Whereas human's brain is entangled, it's connected to everything in the world. So it's nature. So just accept it. But be wise enough to take a step back and think about every actions you want to do. So that's my first case. I still think about her. I don't know, after a while, I couldn't follow up because I had a call from CDC department that she has another issue, which I can't mention. And after that, I lost touch with her. So that's case number one. And now, guess what? A lovely husband can't enjoy the life. A lovely daughter, but also can't enjoy everything. If you don't bond with your kid, trust me, when the kid grows up, it won't have any bonding with you. That's why mothers play a very, very important role. That's the first case. And any questions? Mark, did everything go well? My second case is again another female. This is a medical doctor, and her husband is also a doctor. And just because of that, when she had stomach cancer, it started off from the stomach. When she had stomach cancer, one of our common friend asked her to see me 3 years ago. But sadly, she didn't, because when I asked her why, so she said, I am a trained doctor. My husband is a trained doctor. I believe everything what we learned only in our textbook. I didn't want to step outside of everything because I thought we are the best in everything we do. So because of that, We ignored our common friend's advice to come and see you. I trusted and believed my oncologist 100%. I did every single thing he said. Every single chemo he recommended, she went for it. Every single surgery he mentioned, she went for it. So there were multiple surgeries performed on her. She was on strong dose of chemo, and she believed everything the oncologist said. Other than oncologist prescribed items, she didn't take anything at all. Unlike my other customers, actually, who do their own research and they do themselves to protect the body, because chemo is cytotoxic. It kills everything in its path, both good and bad. But if you're going to a battle, you need more good soldiers to win the battle than injured soldiers. With chemo, both good and bad are all injured. So who is there to defend your body? So most of my other customers, they do their own research and they do things on their own to strengthen the body. But just because she's also a doctor, she trusted 100% in only one system of medicine. And when she came to me, I still have the report lying around. It says palliative chemo until death. Only when her oncologist gave a report with the statement, palliative chemo until death, that's the time she woke up. And then she started to look for alternatives. By then, it is way too late. Too much chemo. And especially when people with cancer, when they say they have excruciating pain, well, it means the cancer has gone up to the bones, and that's where things starts to crumble. And imagine what the pain is. It means every split second, it's like being as if a person has been lit on fire. How do you feel every split second? That's the kind of thing. You won't have appetite, you can't have a quality of life. It's anything you do is painful. That's the time she and her husband came, and I just took the report and I showed her. I'm sure you both being medical doctors and professionals in your field, you exactly know what the statement means. They just nodded their head. Then I said, it's too late. It's already written palliative, and what do you expect me to do? I said, okay, you don't pay me a single cent. You just come and do what you want. I got some treatments for your pain management. That's the best I can do. And I just recommended a couple of nutritional supplements to strengthen her body. So again, the point here is, you remember I said earlier, one of the causes of cancer is mental and emotional. So again, when I look at her, she was a very smart woman, very young. Very young, she had a 10-year-old daughter. And her plea to me was, I really wanted to live. Not for her, not for her husband. I really wanted to live for my daughter. So when you hear that statement from a mother and when you look into her eyes, it's really, I don't know. I don't have words to explain the feeling I went through. I mean, as a father myself, when I looked into her eyes and with the way she said, I really can't express those in words. But what can I do? I told her, your oncologist was treating you for 3 years, put a statement, palliative chemo. So what can I do? Things are broken down beyond recovery, so we can only manage. So again, after talking, I look at her again. Sometimes it's a gut feeling. I again ask permission that may I talk something to you very frankly. And I told you need to tell me everything I ask. So the very first thing I asked was, because it was a stomach cancer, so I asked her, was there anything in your life which you can't stomach it? She said yes. And she said, I was the very first person in her whole career. She was 33, if I'm not mistaken, to ask this question out of so many questions which traditionally a doctor asks. And she said yes. From her childhood, she was deprived of everything she wanted. What happened was, when she was a kid, her maternal uncle took her to a city because her parents lived in a village. her maternal uncle took her as her own daughter and took her to a city and educated her completely until her degree. But the deep inside her was she was so attached to her parents. But though being a maternal uncle, and because it's a maternal uncle, she couldn't even express it because uncle really, really took care of her like his own daughter. Everything she wanted, she got it. But deep inside, her feeling was she wants to be with parents. So from childhood, her emotionals have been hurt. Or we can say it in other words, her emotions have not been met or has not been listened by the people around her. So from there to her college studies, in fact, she did her MBBS, but sadly in Singapore, she can't practice as a doctor. So she has to go under a different department instead of being instead of client facing. So all that affected her marriage. A lot of things went against her wish, but she was forced to accept everything. It's like forced to swallow the bitter pill. And true enough, I said, actually, that's where the cause of your cancer started. That's where the seed you planted, because you didn't verbalize everything outside. You kept everything inside, and that particular seed has now become cancer and it has overtaken your own body. And in fact, there is a book called Radical Remission. The entire book on radical remission, there are a lot of case histories featured, and all of them are related to 100% emotional related cancer. Then there is another case. So sadly, she passed away a bit later because I said even by the time she came to me, things were in very bad shape, so I couldn't do anything. So another case is a very young boy in overseas. This is not my direct case. It's the person who shared this case. A very young boy, when the father was in India, every day the father used to take the boy on a motorcycle around his place, and he really, really enjoyed it. And then his father got an overseas job. I guess it's in Korea, South Korea. So he has to move from India to South Korea for several months. And during that time, this young kid, there was no one to fulfill the role of his dad. So his mom, of course, took care of other needs, but not this particular thing. So what happened was he developed an eye cancer. So what happened as per Western doctors, he's young, they can't do much, there's no much of treatment. So they say, we can't do much, you go and do what you can. So the father was informed that the boy has a late stage eye cancer, and he was asked to come back. But until then, what the family members did was, okay, all Western doctors said there's nothing can be done. Why not we try something natural? And here is where actually I would like to just go back to my past case. I told the young doctor, if you had come to me 3 years ago, I could have really helped you a lot with this cancer. I wouldn't have allowed to progress up to this stage because I understand the root of the problem and I know how I can help you. There are solutions for it, but now too late. But this boy, this young kid is very lucky. So he went and saw a naturopath in India. So initially the family members didn't tell the whole story to the person. He just said, oh, this boy have cancer. The doctors all said it can't be done. So do something. Just extend his life until his dad comes back and see the boy alive. Then after a while, after I guess a week or two, then this gentleman again had an intuition. Then he called the family and said, hey, was there anything this boy is earning for? Then they said, yeah, when the father was here, he used to take the boy every day in the motorcycle. And I think the boy still thinks about the good ride with his dad. He said, oh my God, why didn't you tell me this? This is not to do, his cancer is nothing to do with physical problem. It's to do with emotion. So he just gave some remedies from buckflower remedies. And there are two remedies. One is called rescue remedy and the other one is called white chestnut, which I recommend to all my cancer clients to take it to. He gave it and you won't believe the boy's cancer is gone. So can you see the emotional connection to cancer? Because most of us always think cancer means diet wrong, lifestyle wrong. No, actually, and emotions play a great role in our health as well. So I can share more case histories, but I think this 3 is pretty good enough. Unless you all want more, then I can share a couple more cancer cases. Else, I think it's more than my time. So Mark, how is it?
Yeah, I guess we have time for one more case because we still have people joining as well. So
Okay.
for the benefit of those that join, perhaps you can just provide another case.
But was it useful what I shared earlier? All the 3 cases?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. The other case, I mean, I got many. Let me think what's the best case. Okay. And okay, another young case, again, breast cancer. So she actually asked my opinion. Of course, I asked her to see many oncologists, surgeons, and everybody. And then she came to me and for her last opinion, I said, okay, I don't think you need to go for complete mastectomy. I said, just do lumpectomy and follow the protocol I recommend. This is also a young mother, I mean, not that young, 45, 46. True enough, what happened is here is, again, she got a lovely husband, lovely kids. So what happened was this entire family supported in her decision. This is again an emotional thing, because I will also give you another case of how another woman ended up very miserable state, why there was no support from anyone. What happens is when someone have cancer, of course, everyone around them have their own ideas, what is best for them. But if you ask me, I will still say, listen to the person who actually has cancer. Whatever it is, whether good or bad, listen to them and then coach them. If you think you got a better idea, make them understand that there is a better way of addressing cancer instead of their method. But what happens in most cases, I see, is because they are very sick, people around them make decision for them, but deep inside of them, they're literally crying because they find that even the own loved ones don't want to listen to them. They feel like things have been rammed down their throat. They were forced to accept things. Actually, honestly, in this case, they also can't recover. Again, for this young, beautiful, lovely mother, husband, doting husband, beautiful daughters, all supported her decision. Or none of them went against the wish. They also heard from multiple point of view. Then they all sat together and agreed, okay, what is the best way forward collectively? And they executed it. True enough, this lady recovered completely. She's so happy. In fact, during Chinese New Year, they will send the whole family pictures to me, which is really a great blessing and a joy to see all the happy faces. So again, please listen to the person who is talking to you. Don't put your ideas into them. Remember, they are at a weak, they are at a very vulnerable position. So all they need is a listening ear, love, tender, loving care. Don't force your thing, your ways of doing things on them. So this is another case, happy ending, Because why? Husband listened, daughters listened, they all did the research together. They went and saw many doctors, and then ultimately they came to me as a last opinion, bringing every single. So we sat with them, spent a couple of hours looking at everything, and said, okay, lumpectomy is the way to go. Do it. After that, do this. Trust me, no chemo was done, and she recovered. Even a surgeon said the the flesh grew back at the place where it was removed. Why? Again, I always attribute this to the love and the care, and there was a good emotional support from the family, everyone around her. So as said, from the cases you see, so everything actually, we know that emotions also play a part in cancer. Second, please listen to people and ask them to talk freely about the emotions. Sometimes, in fact, the lady doctor who passed away went home, said she cried a lot. And she said, she even put in a message, I was the first person to ask this question. And that's where, then even her husband said, if you want, let me go out. You can really express yourself. But thankfully, she said, no, you can be here. And then she said everything, even the husband around certain things I can't share. So you see, if all this has been addressed, as I told her 3 years ago, if you had come, I could have gladly helped. But unfortunately, it came at the wrong time. So you see, the decisions you make can either turn out to be positive or negative. So think wisely, ask few people, ask around, allow them to express the emotions freely, and don't judge anything, please. Please don't judge. Let it flow, and then do your best to counsel them and then guide them and be with them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Siva.
Again, one more case.
Yes.
Can you believe she has been fighting cancer, breast cancer for almost 8 years, 8 years, but now rapidly declining. The reason is stubbornness, extreme stubbornness. Because of this, her stubbornness, husband don't go near her. Only one daughter also don't go near her. At the very suffering with cancer for 8 years, doing everything all alone for 8 years, also took a toll on her health. Even when she came to me, she was very selective. So very stubborn up to the core. But now she just 2 weeks ago sent me, well, I am not feeling that good. Again, she doesn't explain much. She just wants things done her way. And so she don't express everything, want to keep everything to herself, and she want to make all the decisions on her own. Again, I'm not sure how this is going to end, but looking at the prognosis, when someone has breast cancer and when there is an edema, well, it's not a good thing. So please, please, please talk your emotion. If a lady hearing this, please express your emotions. And if a husband listening, please listen to them without any judgments and do your best to be with them. And that alone can be the greatest medicine ever. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Siva. I remember once you told me about there's a case about this young boy with hatred and deep hatred for his life, for maybe his parents and things like that. Do you remember that? Some time ago you told me.
Young boy for cancer?
For cancer, yes. Was it hatred or was it vengeful?
Cancer, sorry, I can't recall that case. Definitely, because I don't handle too many young cases. That's why this one was from overseas. Most of my cases are adults usually. Sorry, right. I can't recall. If at all, then maybe in the next sessions I will share.
Yeah. Okay, sure, great. So, can I also summarize what you've just shared? That a lot of times emotions play a very, very, very big role in the metastasis of cancer.
And here is where, if I were to add on, Kiseki can help, because mood actually starts from the gut. If there are plenty of research now on gut-brain axis, gut-brain connection. So the happy feeling comes from the tummy. So like I said earlier, prebiotics feed the probiotics, probiotics produce postbiotics. So if you are at a late stage suffering from already ailments have manifested, it's best you start with postbiotics first, because it gives you the metabolites, what is needed. It can enter your bloodstream immediately. Of course, for all my cancer people, Kiseki Royal is mandatory as part of my protocol. I said, when there are more friendly bacteria in the gut, of course, you got a good mood too, because hormones are also regulated from the gut. I said, the digestive tract is one of the most important tract.
Thank you for the advertisement, Dr. Siva.
Not advertisement, it's real, It's just not because you're giving me an opportunity. You can ask all my cancer cases, Kiseki Royal is part of the protocol. So I'm not advertising, because I said that's not the right way to do. I educate people and then I share with them. That's why all the materials you provided, I ask them to research, third-party research, and give them a whole lot of literature, why I recommend certain things. So definitely it's not an advertisement at all. It's a honest truth.
I guess it is important, like for us, to do more research on cancer in general, and also how Kiseki improves the gut-brain axis communication. Now there are more. I wish a lot of people fund you, buy your products, so that you get funds to do all the research. I mean, you are an individual. I mean, you are not a corporate or a conglomerate to dump in tons of money. It's your father's money, your wife's. I mean, you're putting all your family wealth into this. So it's just a matter of time, and more people start using it and then sharing it with their friends. And I'm sure with that money, you're going to pump in, because when I met you, you told me, that you had a very big plan for research, and it's a very huge sum. Yes.
So I wish it comes from all the users, so that you don't have to dilute your hard-earned earnings.
Yeah, definitely. That's why, Dr. Tan and Dr. Lim, your research, you have to do it at a very discounted rate as well. Okay. So I don't see any questions from the audience. Dr. Lim, Dr. Tan, do you have any questions?
No, I don't have.
Okay. Dr. Lim?
I probably have one. So, Dr. Siva, you mentioned about the protocol is like like giving the Kiseki. So, in what kind of scenario that we actually provide this Kiseki, or is it like Kiseki is like the first thing?
Yeah, because to me, I said I believe real food is medicine, fake food needs medicine. Kiseki oil is a real food, no preservatives, no coloring, no flavoring, no synthetics inside. I said it is a food fermented so that the metabolites are ready for our body's assimilation without taxing any of our digestive system. And then one thing I noticed with people with toxicity, the moment they take it, the same day they get diarrhea a few times. And I said, that's already a fantastic news for me. So I tell them on the first day, you better take it at home. Usually within a day, it gets cleared, which is a very, very good thing. Like one of my clients recently, after chemo, just 4 rounds, all her nails have become black. And she couldn't even tolerate the side effects, really nausea, terrible feeling. Then after our protocol, we can see, because nails goes from the cuticle below, the black ones are going up and the new ones are very nice, shiny. Of course, Kiseki Royal is one of it. They take another suite of items too. But I said, honestly, food is medicine. Real food is medicine. Fake food needs medicine. So I only believe in food as healing, because that's how God created it.
Yep. Okay. It's so great to hear that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Dr. Siva, can I use your quote? Real food is medicine. Fake food is needs
medicine. Honestly, it's not my quote. Someone else said it. I can't recall. Maybe Dr. Robert Lustig. Yeah. Maybe now he's called Rob or Bob. Yeah. Can't remember. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if there is no question at this juncture, perhaps those that are watching reruns, you can post your questions too, and we will definitely reply to you. Don't be shy. You can also ask us questions in a private message as well. We will look into it. I will get Dr. Siva to reply if there's a need. Otherwise, Dr. Lim will be able to help. Or if you have questions regarding, the foods and all that, general knowledge about like labels and things like that, please, message us privately, directly, and we will try to answer all your questions as best as possible. So I guess that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much, Dr. Siva. We have one question. Sorry. From KCO. Why do infant food and supplements still use additives, artificial sweeteners, flavors, and colorings, as well as preservatives rather than real wholesome stuff? I think
I want to take up this. Very good question. Thank you. Very good question. You see, when my son was born, the mother didn't have enough milk. And guess what I did? I didn't resort to powder milk. In Singapore, there is a forum where other mothers who got excess milk want to give it away to other mothers. What a lovely idea. And thankfully, they don't ask for money. You just have to give them a little bit of money for the plastic pouches they used to store and freeze it. So my kids, I only gave that and not at all a powder milk. So I tried, when I gave powder milk, the kids develop constipation almost immediately. And I still don't understand why governments allow, in fact, I even have something right in front of me. If I were to bring it, just give me 1 second.
Dr. Tan, probably you want to add on this later on as well.
You see, one of my clients gave this and then said, whenever my kid takes this, develop constipation, I said, look, okay, go ahead. Let's go to the ingredient section. So look at the first thing. First thing, ingredient. We call it as a, what powder is this? Can someone answer, please?
Milk powder.
Milk powder, right? Exactly, right? But let me tell you, the very first ingredient is hydrolyzed cornstarch. Second is sucrose. Third is milk protein concentrate. Is a baby designed to eat this nonsense? No wonder they have a lot of problems. Sadly, I have a client. She told me it happened, I think, 10, 20 years ago when she had a baby. Her gynae said, give S28 to your kid because breast milk is a poison to your kid. Can you believe this? One of the doctor those times, 20 years ago, told her when she had a daughter, give her S28 milk, something like that. Some brand S28. Does it exist? I don't know. And they say your breast milk is a poison. Can you believe? It's a reality. And true enough, the baby now didn't grow up well because why was not fed on. And imagine, God created milk. It is from design from a breast, udder to mouth. And then the baby is not taking it. Imagine if baby don't drink, what happened? It will also affect the mother too, right? If the milk, look at a cow, if you don't milk it or if the calf don't drink it, it will be screaming in pain.
Yeah.
A lot of things were done wrongly in the past. Thankfully, now consciousness is awakening and people are being awakened. To me, really, for a kid, I always say first resort to breast milk. If the mother don't have, look out for forums. And I believe, and I really hope if any government official see this video, they set up milk banks and to provide milk to other babies, which is more healthy than promoting all this powder nonsense. Because I know my friend who worked in that company, resigned from that company. He said how the milk is, he's in a lab technician like that. He said a lot of powders, varieties of boxes from different countries, white, different colors. All he has to do is mix it in a ratio, it goes in a box and you seal up. He said, "Oh my God." He resigned from the job and he told me he don't want to poison any baby with his own hands. That was his message. He completely gave up that field. So it is wrong. What you're saying is very, very wrong. And we should rather go towards more nature.
So Dr. Tan, in terms of a food tech point of view, right? What do you think about what Dr. Siva shared and what Mr. KCEO mentioned?
Okay, I think first of all, if let's say we look at the product that she mentioned just now is the infant formula, correct? Is it infant formula?
Oh, no, let me check. I think 3 years.
This is not infant formula. This one I think is something like a meal completion thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see which year. I just put sure.
Pediasure.
Say which year, yeah, I can't.
Pediasure is the brand. This one, if I'm not mistaken, give me a minute. This one.
I have one more thing. What, Mr. You're right, the person who asked the question. Just give me a second.
Yeah, Dr. Tan, continue.
Yes. I just want to check whether the question is related to infant formula or what? Or milk powder?
Infant food in general.
You see, this
bottle.
is what one of the item was in 20. I mean, when my kid was born, we went to a medical, a kind of a health fair, and one particular item was given to me. It is 3 to 6 years old. Okay, in one of the old formulas, let me check. In this formula, yeah, this is one was given somewhere in 2011, and this is what my another client passed it to me. In this one, what was given to my son, it had artificial flavor. And then we have a health logo from the health authority in Singapore. It says lower in sugar, lower in saturated fat. But now we all know we need fat layer to build the cells and build the brain and everything. So we are already depriving our growing children with all the artificial food, processed food. Whereas in this formula, they took it away. And again, it also has the same health logo. And again, when it comes to sugar, as I read from the other box, the second ingredient was sugar. So I've seen kids with decayed teeth, rotten teeth. Why? They drink milk and then they just fall asleep. So what happens? Sugar, it starts to corrode the teeth. Beautiful kids, the moment they open the mouth, it's like a cave, everywhere cavity. And imagine you keep swallowing every second, drinking water, eating food, all the things is supposed to end up in your stomach and the digestive tract. What a shame. Because we adults can at least rinse it up. When we eat sugary food, we can go and rinse and spit it out. A kid can't. So what? We are actually damaging a kid unknowingly by putting sugar in these products. Whereas when a kid drinks mother's milk and go to sleep, definitely nothing will happen. That's how nature designed it. Yeah, very good question. But sadly, I got no answer because authorities don't bother or don't believe in the other way, natural way, what to do.
I guess, Dr. Tan, I'm sorry to put you on the spot. So, yeah.
The thing is this, if let's say we take infant formula as an example, saying that it contains preservative, I think is a bit wrong because according to regulation, I believe it's not allowed to add in preservative. But if you mention about additive, then yes, there are additive like emulsifier, thickening agent, maybe acidity regulator, and so on. All these additives are added in order to so-called to
Extend the lifespan.
Not to extend the shelf life, but to improve the sensory property, the taste, the texture of the product. For example, like emulsifier is being used in order to form emulsion in the product. Milk is a type of emulsion. So infant formula are produced in a way that they are adding the milk fat together with maybe plant fat or plant oil into maybe like a skim milk. So these two are not readily mixed. So in order to mix it, in order to form an emulsion which is white in color that resemble milk, industry needs to add in emulsifier. There's no way for it to mix without emulsifier. So this type of additive are added in order to help to create the product. But if let's say you notice that in infant formula, for example, there are preservative inside, most likely this product are problematic product. Because as far as I know in regulation, for infant formula, for those follow-up formula, they shouldn't add in preservative. In regulation, there are sets of standards whereby manufacturer has to follow. And in the regulation, it will state what are the type of additive that can be used. Preservative, I don't think so. But if you are referring to thickener, emulsifier, or maybe even flavoring, maybe those are possible because it has to. I'm not sure about flavoring, but I'm very sure emulsifier, thickener, these are the type of additive that usually will be added in order to create the product. Without this type of additive, it's not possible to get something that resemble milk, for example.
Yeah, in this they added artificial flavor. It is removed in this product. This is about 12 years old, if not mistaken. I still kept it. Why? When I gave it to my son, when I look at artificial flavor, I was shaking my head. Oh my God. Food industry wants to destroy my kid's life. That's why I still kept it. And to enough, my another customer also was very conscious, passed me this. Then I compared the ingredient. Hey, artificial flavor is removed.
Dr. Tan, you did mention that sometimes
Sorry. One correction. The old one, artificial flavor, and now they made it very clear. Vanilla flavoring. Again, I guess it is from artificial source. I don't think it's a real vanilla bean. So at least now they've made it vanilla flavoring. Here they didn't even tell what it is. They just put artificial flavor, and this is vanilla flavoring. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, basically,
Dr. Khan mentioned they can add flavoring. Yeah, they did add.
For flavoring, with my limited knowledge, you can get from plant extracts as well that they produce a certain terpenes where it gives you like sometimes lemon flavor or vanilla fragrant and things like that with that are plant extracted. There
are cases where they mention natural flavoring. I have seen products, they say natural identical flavoring. A lot of jargons in this area. I rather feel they don't add flavoring. Let's provide real food to babies. They are the future.
Right.
For flavoring, I can add in a little bit. Basically, there are three terms. One is the natural flavoring. So those are being extracted from plants without any chemical. So they might be using physical treatment in order to extract the flavor without using chemical. So those are natural flavoring. Another one is artificial. Those are being synthesized in the lab. The slightly more confusing term will be the one that Dr. Siva mentioned just now. It's called nature identical flavoring. So this nature identical flavoring, for those who are not very, for laymen they might think that nature identical, so it's natural. Actually, nature identical is actually still referring to artificial flavoring, just that the compound that are being created, the compound that are being synthesized mimics the compound that are found in the natural flavoring. So nature identical is actually artificial, just that it has the same molecular structure, it has the same compound as the one found in natural flavoring. So still artificial.
Who creates all these terminologies?
Because artificial flavoring, most of the time, artificial flavoring has different compound compared to natural flavor. Just that it has the same flavor profile, but usually they are of different molecule. So in order to to make it sounds better. So they came up with another term they call as nature identical. So it's identical to the nature, identical to the natural one. But to some laymen, they might think that this is natural.
The regulations are not that tight, actually, honestly.
I guess we have to have one session just on all these special terminologies.
Oh, I have it already. I can do it anytime.
That have been created created as a loophole for producers.
Exactly.
Because if you look at products, natural products, right? They are so heavily regulated, which is fair. Like organic vegetables and all that, right? It is fair that they are heavily regulated because they call themselves organic. But
sorry, Mark, I have a different opinion. Do you know why? Those people should not be regulated. Only people who put in chemicals into the food should be heavily regulated. But now, any chemical you can throw into the food is not regulated. Whereas if you want to prove that you have grown everything without pesticides and artificial thing, you need to regulate, you need to pay money. To me, that's the most dumbest and the foolish thing our governments are doing.
No comments. Anyway.
I mean, common sense, what? I mean, it's not rocket science,
Right.
But he's doing everything as per nature without poisoning. He has to pay money to prove that. Whereas anyone dumping in any poison, they can just walk away with it. It's very unfair world.
Yeah, Dr. Tan, just now you did mention about taste at how should I say additive, right? To create or mimic the taste profile for the baby,
the texture, the appearance, yeah.
Right. That reminded me of this story. My friend, he is an organic farmer, an award-winning organic farmer. He produces his vegetables in Malaysia, and then he got the award in Singapore. So most of his vegetables are sold in Singapore. Yeah. And he told me why children do not take vegetables. The simple fact that because their taste profile is not accustomed to chemicals. Their taste is not accustomed to chemicals because their taste bud is very raw, right? So when they touch anything that is chemical, they push it away because no amount of cleaning the vegetable would remove 100% of the chemicals that's put into the vegetables. But what he did was he did a AB test where he gave his vegetables to the same boy, and the boy just walloped the whole bowl of vegetables.
Oh, interesting. There is a video on YouTube made by Cameron farmers. Have you come across that?
No. Maybe you can share that with me, and then I can share in the group as well. Okay. I guess if we don't have any more questions, we should end this session unless the audience would like to hear us ramble on various topics.
Let me look out for the video and share with you. The two guys, how much of toxicity they put it into the farming there.
Oh, yeah. That I'm very well aware of.
Yeah, it's a YouTube video. I mean, it's a TED Talk video, if not mistaken. Yes.
Okay.
On YouTube.
Thank you so much, Dr. Siva. So yeah, great session today. And if the audience have any questions, and if you do not want your question to be public, feel free to message us directly, privately, and we will get the specific expert to answer your questions. Okay, so in our next session, which is on the 12th of April, Dr. Lim will be talking about postbiotics for immune system. Am I right, Dr. Lim?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's all from me. Again, if the audience, you have topics that you feel passionate about and you would like us to talk about it, do let us know in the comment section. So, and for those who have not liked or subscribed to our Facebook and YouTube page, it would really, really help us if you could hit the like button, subscribe button, and share our videos, share our postings. That will help us a lot. All right. Like what Dr. Siva mentioned earlier, you will drive our research, and all our research, our knowledge, we will, give back to all of you as well. All right. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. And well, we hope that you find peace. And I hope this session is informative and empowering to all of you. So thank you. Good night and take care.